Hello, everyone. I'm Sibyl Star, and I just realized that I have not really actually introduced myself at the beginning of each video, and I should do that. So I'm going to start today. Okay. So anyway, I'm Sibyl Star. I've been a professional astrologer for over 20 years. I do many kinds of astrology, and if you're interested in a reading, I will have my information in the description box below. All right. But anyway, here I am here to give you the astrology forecast for the coming week of October 23rd to the 29th. All right, so we're actually, and you can feel the energy, we're in a super intense period of energy because we're in between two eclipses. We had the solar eclipse on October 14th, and we're going to have a lunar eclipse on October 28th. Now, the solar eclipse, which has just been super powerful. I mean, everyone can feel it. There's just so much intense energy, and it was in the sign of Libra, and Libra is the sign of balance. And so, but it's not that Libra is balanced. Libra is seeking balance. And so I think it is showing us just how out of balance our world is. And our world is out of balance because we are out of balance. It's so important to remember that the outer world is a reflection of our inner world on a personal and a collective basis. So we're really being asked to come into balance with ourselves and with our world. And it's giving us some guidance as to how to do that. And so, anyway, first of all, what are eclipses? So an eclipse is when the light of the sun is blocked, and in a solar eclipse, it's at the new moon, so it's the moon comes right in front of the sun, so we cannot see the light of the sun, and for a period of time. And a lunar eclipse is when the earth comes in between the sun and the moon. It always happens at a full moon, okay? And the shadow of the earth blocks the light of the sun. And they are harbingers of change. They bring things to light that have been hidden. What has been in the darkness does come to light, and it changes the electromagnetic field for that period of time as the light of the sun is blocked, and allows for more cosmic energy to come in. And so, and it's interesting because both eclipses are ruled by Venus, and Venus is goddess of love, harmony, and peace. And yet, the planet Venus herself, they say, is the most turbulent of all. Her atmosphere is the most turbulent of all of the planets in our solar system. And we definitely are in turbulent times and in the eye of the storm, but seeking that inner peace and calm. So anyway, to begin with, this week, I'm going to talk more about the lunar eclipse, but we're going to start. So on October 23rd, the sun is in Scorpio, is moved into Scorpio out of Libra. And, Scorpio is so much about intensity of emotion, feeling, is where we lay our souls bare to. It was a teacher of mine said, Scorpio and the eighth house are both places which is ruled by Scorpio, where it asks us to let at least one other person see our soul and the craziness in our soul, and that we all have that. Okay. And we all have wonderful things in our soul. It's just allowing ourselves to be vulnerable is really the way to say it emotionally. Okay. But Scorpio often, that's the place they don't want to go. Because it's a very sensitive kind of an energy, but often doesn't want to let anyone know how sensitive. Okay. But anyway, the guiding light is number one, is the archetype of the shaman, the detective. Scorpio likes to look. Scorpio is seeking the truth, and it's the inner truth. It's going deep within. And so it is looking under every rock, everything that has been hidden. Scorpio is where we make the unconscious conscious. Okay. Um, it's the guiding principle of Scorpio is I desire. The ancient ruler of Scorpio is Mars. The modern ruler is Pluto, and they say that Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. And so it's the desire nature is super strong in Scorpio, but it's more like a slow burn that grows with time and finally erupts like a volcano. Because Scorpio does keep things hidden until it's time for it to be shown. It is the sign of depth, intimacy, and extremes of feeling. Scorpio's goal is to feel every human emotion, but to know that you don't stay in that place, to allow it to move, because Scorpio also rules the elimination process of knowing when it is time to let go of something. But sometimes that can be a painful process, letting go. Okay. With Scorpio, we have the desire to get to the bottom of things. Like I said, it's a detective. Scorpio always knows, well, this is what is said, but what did it mean? Okay, there's more there than meets the eye. It makes the unconscious conscious, so it brings light to the darkness, but first must shine that light within. And many Scorpio is a very healing sign. They say it's the greatest healer in the zodiac because it allows for that death and rebirth process, which is what transformation is all about. Okay. Scorpio's energy can be provocative in a quiet way, as well as passionate, strong-willed, and intense. Scorpio can be intentionally healing and transformative. Some of the shadow of Scorpio is jealousy, vindictiveness, and manipulation. Okay, they're the more negative expressions of Scorpio. Now, the sun is conjunct what is called the Shapley attractor on October 26th, but it's here the whole week. Okay. And October 26th at 2 degrees, 39 minutes of Scorpio is one more of these deep space objects. It's, they say it's different than a black hole. It's like a big black space in our Milky Way galaxy. And but they say here that on the other side of that is an infinite number, or they don't know a lot. I don't think they've been able to count them, but they say tremendous amount of other galaxies and universes. And they say it functions like an engine that is pulling us in that direction. And it's a huge force of magnetic attraction. It has a 10-degree orb on either side, so it's super powerful. So basically, anywhere from around, what would that be? Libra, 22 degrees to Scorpio, 12 degrees would be kind of its range of orb of impacting, let's say it's someone in their birth chart. And someone who had the Shapley attractor super strong in their birth chart is Bill Gates. And Bill Gates has it brought in a new age of computers, and it is certainly kind of like pulling us in that direction. Let's just say that's an archetypal energy that he carries, having his sun in the exact conjunction. I don't know how exact with the Shapley attractor, but the engine that was pulling us in that direction of technology, if you want to look at it that way. Anyway, we have Mercury in Scorpio this week, 2 to 12 degrees. And Mercury in Scorpio is deeply, of course, Mercury is the mind. It's how we communicate and how we perceive the world. And in Scorpio, it can be deeply psychological and a deep understanding of human nature. And the shadow side of this, of course, is the ability to manipulate others, the desire and the ability to manipulate others. That would be the more negative shadow side. Mercury in Scorpio is very much of a detective, looking under every stone for the truth. And we may have deep and profound insights around our own inner motivations and that of others with Mercury and Scorpio. It can become very focused on following the trail of an idea or an insight, and one might even say it could become obsessed. Okay. And when Mercury is transiting in Scorpio, it's an excellent time to do research, investigate, and work on hunches. And if left to observe our own hunches, then we do our best thinking, seeking the hidden situations. Okay. And Mercury is also trine Saturn at 0 degrees Pisces. Trine is an easy flow and I would say an ability to understand spiritual ideas, the nature of reality. Okay. All right. And it's also can be used to create. All right, now we have the major event of this week is the full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus at 5 degrees 9 minutes on October 28th at 1:25 p.m. At least that's when the full moon is. I don't believe we see this here in the United States at all. I can't remember exactly where it's seen, but it's not here. I am going to show you the chart of this lunar eclipse, okay? So what we have here, and like I told you, lunar eclipses always occur at the full moon. And so we have the sun at 5 degrees 9 minutes of Scorpio, opposite the moon, which is what is eclipsed, 5 degrees 9 degrees of Taurus. Okay. The other thing that's the really prominent aspect of this is that first off, the full moon is conjunct Jupiter in Taurus, which is a beautiful aspect. The sun is conjunct Mercury and Mars, okay, opposite this. So we're going to be talking about what that means. Let's see. We still have the South Node is conjunct Arcturus and square Pluto. What else do we have going on? I think that's the main thing I'm going to be talking about. All right. Okay. So anyway, so what does all of that mean? So, as I said, at any eclipse, well, the lunar eclipse, the light of the sun is blocked by the shadow of the earth, and it allows for more cosmic energy to come in. And so this lunar eclipse is in alignment with that galactic point of the Shapley attractor. So it's a huge cosmic piece. We might get some very serious guidance and direction of seeing of what way the universe is wanting us to go, kind of pulling us in that direction. But anyway, Taurus is the sign most aligned with the body. And so I feel like this lunar eclipse is definitely bringing in some cellular upgrades to our body so that we can anchor in these higher frequency vibrations that are coming in so that we can anchor them into our body and into Mother Earth. Okay. And to do that, a purification process does need to happen. Taurus, as I said, is ruled by Venus. And so, Taurus is the sign that is most connected to Mother Earth and nature. And so one can think of like a tree, and Taurus is a fixed sign. It is about staying fixed, finding your stability, a place that is stabilizing. It's like the tree being rooted into the ground while the storm swirls around. So it's like being in the eye of that storm where the calm is. Okay. And Scorpio is the emotional storm that is swirling around, to be the calm center at that eye of the storm. Okay. And then, like I said, at the solar eclipse, I kept getting this message of be the peace we want to see in the world. And, what gives us that peace is the choices we make of how to engage with that storm. And I also kind of worked with the language a bit because I kept hearing, be the peace, but there are some people who kind of don't resonate with that word. And it made me look at it from a different angle. So some other words could be, calmness, tranquility, serenity, groundedness. One person said gentleness, but it's the stabilizing force, but it is that inner peace that we're seeking, that inner calm. And when I got this, it said, if I switch the wording, when it goes from saying be the peace to be the calm, then it kind of came about be calm. Be calm. Find that place of inner calm. And I got the message here that, nothing is under control and everything is under control. Okay. It's, our ego self. One is our ego self perspective. The other is our higher self perspective, but the guidance is still the same. And it is the universal love underneath all this chaos and turmoil is what remains constant. And it is the only thing that is real. Everything else, it really is a story that is playing out in our mind to grow the universal consciousness, to grow the greater reality, and to know it is our higher self that is connected to love. And the key is to allow our ego selves to be connected to love and trust the process that is going on. Okay. And lunar eclipses often impact our inner life and our relationships. You know, it says stay calm, but allow yourself to move through difficult emotions. Like, it's not like the emotions aren't there. They're going to be there. You know, we see what's going on in the world. And it's so important to always remember that the outer world is a reflection of our inner world. And we're going through a massive purification process to move through and integrate. You know, we're making the unconscious conscious. Okay. And we're integrating our shadow. It's coming up for us to look at it and to integrate those and to heal those traumatized parts of ourselves that we don't yet love, and to bring the and to meet our own selves with kindness, to meet others with kindness and generosity of spirit. Okay. All right. The Sabian symbol for this eclipse is a bridge being built across a narrow chasm. And for those of you who don't know what a Sabian symbol is, there was a psychic back in the 1930s named Elsie Wheeler who had a vision for every degree of the zodiac. Okay. And these visions, these images that came into her consciousness are often super helpful for understanding the energy as it aligns with the astrology. So what this says to me is that in these times of great divisiveness, we're being asked to be a bridge builder. And, you know, we can only do that when we are calm within ourselves and aligned with spirit. It's about breaking the barriers between us where there has been separation, and to know that it is judgment that causes the chasms between us. It's so important to focus on common ground. It's where we meet, not where we are different. Okay. And that we are also, so it's about building bridges with each other, but it's also about, as we do, we're building the bridge to the higher consciousness, to the fifth dimensional reality of living from the heart. We're being asked to live from our hearts and not the stories in our heads. Okay. And we're doing this together as bridge builders. Now, one of the challenges of this eclipse is there's Mercury conjunct Mars in Scorpio, which is opposite, conjunct the sun and opposite the moon. And so, well, first let's talk about the meaning of it. Okay, so first off, I just want to say it's conjunct what is called the Southern Cross. For those of you in the Southern Hemisphere would know about the Southern Cross. That's in the Northern Hemisphere are not as familiar with it. But the brightest star in the Southern Cross is a star called Acrux, and it's at 11 degrees of Scorpio. This Mercury and Mars are both conjuncted, and Jupiter is opposite it. And so in astrology, the cross is the cross of matter. Okay. And so its expression is to give things form, but it indicates the spirit of the soul of the individual grappling with the physical world into which we have been born. So the cross of matter is aligning with spirit. It's what we're making real, what we're bringing into our world. Okay. It's giving kind of a boost. So it's being super careful, one, about our words, okay? Because, you know, Mercury is our mind, it's how we communicate, it's our, and to know that our thoughts combined with action create our experience, that we are creating our experience. So it's so, and they start with your mind, okay? And they start with your thoughts that come into words, and then the words create action. And so I really like this quote. It's actually from Margaret Thatcher. And it says, watch your thoughts, for they become words. Watch your words, for they become actions. Watch your actions, for they become habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character, and watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. So it's so important to understand that we are creating our world in every moment, and through our thoughts and actions, they come into reality. And in aspect to Jupiter, Jupiter always brings a blessing and opportunity, but also it can bring exaggeration. It can, really make things bigger. But I feel like the moon conjunct Jupiter, it to me is so much about the generosity of spirit. Okay. And so I feel like an aspect to Jupiter and Taurus conjunct the moon, this Mercury Mars is opposite it. Okay. Because Jupiter's at 11 degrees of Taurus. Okay. So to me, it's about generosity of spirit and the impact of kind and inspirational words that we speak to ourselves and others. And what we put out into the field is part of the being able to be a calming energy in the field of this storm, that to speak words of kindness and inspiration, because it can change the whole dynamic. We can use our words to uplift and build bridges when we speak from the heart. Okay. And because, we are shifting a paradigm, not just a situation. So awareness of the quantum field and what we are creating is vital. Be aware of what you're putting out into the field. Okay. You're either making the storm grow, or you can use your words and your actions to calm the storm. Okay. All right. As I said, the south node of the moon, which is our past, it's what we're healing as well as bringing forward, is conjunct the star Arcturus, and it's square Pluto, which is also in conjunct Neptune. There's a whole thing going on there. So what we've got here is the south node, Pluto, and Neptune, basically all in aspect to Arcturus. Okay. All right. So, and the south node. So are the Arcturians, they say, but they are the masters of inner peace. And this is the teaching coming through. And we have inner peace when we are aligned with our inner truth and the source of all creation. Okay. And the source of all creation is love. It's unconditional love. And Bashar, who I've shared before, says that those involved in conflicts such as war have lost their connection with source and are looking for connection, but are doing it through conflict. So the key is to regain our connection with source, whatever that takes. Okay, because that is how you actually get to the place of inner peace, and we can change the paradigm in which we are living. We must regain our source with connection for peace to live in our hearts. And to evolve, we must remember who we are and that we have never left the source of all creation, that it is about awakening from the dream of separation, and to move from the dream of separation into unity consciousness, where we remember that we are one with unconditional love. And I love this quote from Black Elk. He says, "Peace comes within the souls of men when they realize their oneness with the universe, when they realize it is really inside of each one of us." And that is the biggest truth. That is the awakening. And that's what this process is about. Okay. All right. So this week, where's the moon? Okay. So on Monday, the moon is in Aquarius. And so in Aquarius, we're attracted to what is new and unusual. Aquarius is so much about freedom, and so it's really important to have some space when the moon is in Aquarius to do your own thing. And even if you're in a serious relationship, when the moon grows around to Aquarius, it says you need a little emotional space. Okay. All right, but it is a good time for friendships, for brainstorming new ideas, progressive changes. Okay. All right. Now on Tuesday and I just want to say this too, it's Monday, and of course it's kind of back to work day. You might find you have some really great ideas to start the week off with. Okay, so that would be helpful too. So Tuesday through Wednesday, the moon is in Pisces, and Pisces is visionary like Aquarius, but not, it's a little more dreamy and in a feeling nature, not an intellectual nature. Okay. And there's not a desire to face reality. So it might be a time to, or what we call this version of reality anyway, to paint, to do art, to write poetry, to allow yourself to have a little space to daydream and kind of step out of the consensual reality that we have all created. What we have all agreed upon is our reality. Aquarius and Pisces are both kind of beyond the consensus reality that we have created. It's really a big part of the growing process. Anyway, but it can be a time where emotional boundaries come down as Pisces energy merges, it blends. And the moon is conjunct Neptune on Wednesday. So this could be a very strong time to want to escape. So the illusions as well as our dreams could be very strong. Could have some very powerful prophetic dreams. Okay, on Thursday through Friday, the moon is in Aries. It kind of steps out of the dreamy place, steps out of the water onto dry land and say, okay, I'm here now. What am I going to do? Got to take care of myself. Okay. And so Aries can be, a time to want to start something new, to kind of look at a situation and say, okay, this is the challenge, and this is how I'm going to meet it. Okay. But Aries can also be kind of tactless and impulsive. It's conjunct Chiron in Aries. So there could be a very strong desire for self-determination, really personal sovereignty. Aries is so much about personal sovereignty and self-determination. All right. In Taurus, on Saturday and Sunday, it's here on the weekend when the eclipse happens. We're motivated by the desire for serenity, security, peace, and comfort. Things might really calm down actually with this eclipse, okay, because it's in Taurus. Well, I don't know, it still brings change. Pushes us out of our comfort zone, because it's the moon is going to be also conjunct Uranus a little bit later, I think on maybe an early Sunday, which really pushes us out of our comfort zone. Taurus likes to be comfortable, but Uranus there is saying, you can be comfortable on some levels, but other levels you've got to grow. Okay. Anyway, all right. This is what I see for this week. It's very exciting and dynamic energy. I feel like there's some absolute keys to accessing higher vibrational frequencies and bringing these energies in. And also, just having a really exciting week. All right. Wishing you all a wonderful week, and namaste and blessings to all.